بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back to the Dawah Academy. This is Brother Tariq. Lesson 7, the epistemic method for agnostics and atheists. You're going to frame your epistemic inquiries with the following format. You begin by asking the non-believer, do you know if there is or isn't a God who created the universe and has a relationship with human beings? It's important to frame your question this way. By asking the person if he knows instead of believes, you force that person to justify their knowledge with evidence or argument. Take note that there is no evidence to prove that there is no God. So right off the bat, this dissolves the confidence in the belief that atheism is true. We also focus their concept of God as the creator of the universe. Many people have absurd concepts of God, which causes them to give illogical answers. Debunking these answers would take your precious time, so our definition will help keep them on track. When you ask the non-believer, do you know if there is or isn't a God who created the universe and has a relationship with human beings, the usual response is, I don't know, or I don't believe in God. You can respond by saying, what would you need to know? Or what would you need to conclude that God is a reality? The common response is, I would need evidence to believe in God. When someone says he needs evidence to believe in God, you can ask him what methods are available for gaining evidence. Most people will be unaware of the reliable methods for gaining knowledge and evidence. We discussed epistemology and the methods for gaining knowledge in the previous episode. Brother Right Hand has made a useful acronym for remembering these methods. It's called TRIP, because it takes people on amazing intellectual trips. TRIP stands for testimony, reason, intuition, and perception, which are the basic reliable methods of gaining knowledge and evidence. You can explain those methods to the person you're conversing with. Once he understands the tools available to him for gaining knowledge, ask him which of the methods he would use to determine if God is real. He might say, for example, I would need a logical argument, which is evidence from reason. Or he will say he needs to see God or see a sign of God, which is using perception followed by reason to conclude that God is real. Once the person has chosen his epistemic tools, you should confirm his commitment to the evidence by asking, if you gained valid evidence from these methods, would that evidence give you a high level of confidence that God is real? By asking such, you will get the person to become accountable for following the evidence wherever it leads. This is the end of your epistemic inquiry. However, at this point, you can offer to share the evidence for God and Islam. In the following episodes, we will cover how to present evidence for God in Islam in further detail. Lesson review. When using the epistemic method with a non-believer, frame your conversation by asking, 1. Do you know if there is or isn't a God who created the universe and has a relationship with humans? 2. If that person doesn't know, ask what he would need to know to conclude that God is real. 3. If that person says he needs evidence, ask him if he knows what methods of gaining evidence are available to him. 4. Once you've explained to him the methods which are reliable, ask him which one he would use and get his commitment to following such evidence if he receives it. 5. You can choose to convey the evidence for Islam and God at that point. Practice assignment. Practice your epistemic inquiry skills with a non-believing friend or acquaintance. Find out if he knows if God is real or not, and what he would need to conclude that God is true. And share the TRIP methods of gaining evidence, and ask him how he could use those methods for gaining evidence. Do that as a thought exercise for him. You don't need to provide evidence for Islam at this point. Just use it to practice your epistemic inquiry skills. In the next lesson, we will look at how you can frame the epistemic method when having conversations with believers in other faiths and other religions. Thank you for building a Dawah culture. Remember to subscribe,
share, and comment. You have my love and respect for Allah's sake. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.